Throughout time, cats have been many things. They once were symbolic of witchcraft and wizardry. They've given us adventures and highly erotic nightmares. They've been the most comfortable thing in our lives, and they've also been the creepiest things. They are the chess to dogs' checkers. They are simply cats. And in board games, they really always come with a nice, comfortable theme, and usually something that's going to break your head with puzzliness. And that's what you get in Calico, which was designed by Kevin Russ and published by AEG, with beautiful Beth Sobel art on the cover and throughout the game. Calico is a tile-laying game that will absolutely stretch your brain as far as it can in terms of possibilities, while also being very, very simple. And when we played it, I realized it has a solo mode. Now, I'm apparently the guy who does solo modes on cat-based games, because the only other time I did a You Can Solo that was based off the Isle of Cats. So I don't mind cats as a theme in board games. I think they can do so much. Like I said at the beginning, cats have kind of been a prominent part of our culture for a long, long time, and they're usually pretty fun and sweet to look at. In this case, they look so ever so cuddly, and things like that. So it makes you just kind of feel good, which this game definitely is about being colorful, bright, and light, while also being a deceptively difficult puzzle inside. So I got a chance to solo play this and play it multiplayer. And I wanted to show you a little bit about how Calico works, because it's actually a fairly simple game mechanically. There's not a lot going on, which is actually great because there is a lot going on in terms of what you place where. So I love that the mechanics are super simple. The depth is deep, good word choice. And so what I'll do is I'm going to show you really quickly how this game works, then touch briefly on the solo, because to solo it is actually very slightly different. It's almost exactly the same as playing a multiplayer game, and then I'll come back and tell you what I think about it and why I think this solo may or may not be a good choice for you. Calico is a tile-laying game where players will try to make the most pleasing quilt possible. You'll achieve this by absolutely destroying your brain with thinky choices. Cats are particular creatures, if you didn't notice, and they don't just want any old quilt, they want their quilt their way. On your turn, you will place one of two tiles in your hand onto any available space in your quilt, and then you will take a new tile into your hand from the 3 available in the market. Where you place your quilt patch matters, and once it's placed, it can't move. Players can score buttons and collect cats in different ways. If ever you get 3 or more of the same color touching, you collect the matching button type. Collect all 6 button types and you get a rainbow button. All collected buttons will be worth 3 points. Colors are cool and all, but cats can't see them well, so instead they are attracted to patterns. Each tile will have one of 6 patterns in addition to its color. There will always be 3 cats in play. Each cat prefers only 2 types of patterns, and you will collect cat tokens if you manage to meet what they want. At times this means having a certain amount of adjacent tiles with the same pattern, and at times they will need to be in specific shapes. Each cat you collect will show their value on the backside of the token. Lastly, there will be 3 design goals on your player board that will deal with the 6 tiles that surround them. In this example, the design tile wants 3 sets of 2, whether it be color or pattern. If you get one or the other, you get the number in blue, but if you manage to get both color and pattern to match, you get the higher golden value. The game will end once all players have filled in their quilt and will gain points for collected buttons and cats and based on how they did with their design goals. The player with the most points wins. For solo play, the game only undergoes a minor change where after you take a turn and gain a new tile from the available market, you discard the rightmost tile and then draw out 2 new tiles to the market. Play proceeds as normal otherwise. So there you have it, that's Calico. That's pretty much everything in terms of how it all scores and works. And I threw on just a little extra bit because in a solo game, it works exactly like a multiplayer game, like if you were playing a 2-player game, for example. And the only difference is that you just kind of artificially discard the rightmost tile, which would kind of symbolize someone else going and then maybe taking that thing you want before it gets back around to your next turn. That's the only difference in this game, because in this game, you're fully independent. I can't mess with my opponents other than, I guess I could look over at what they want and take their tile and hate draft it or whatever. But I can promise you I'm way too concerned with what's going on with my quilt to even think about anybody else's. So with the solo, it's really nice that there isn't some big complicated thing to track as you're playing. It's just simply focus on your thing, take whatever tile is the furthest right or furthest from the bag or stacks of tiles is what gets discarded. Then you put new tiles, 2 new tiles out, and then you go. I actually really liked the artificial discarding of tiles because it kind of gave me some interesting moments where I got to make some choices, because I know I'm really trying to get a lot of purple right now. And if I don't take this purple now, it's going to get discarded. Or if I grab this tile, that means this middle one's going to get discarded. And what if I want to keep that too? How can I strategically keep what is most necessary and let go of the rest? So it was actually like a little extra added moment in there that I thought would be kind of similar in a multiplayer game, where I'm like, I hope no one likes to look at that green one with the leaves, you know, and ultimately I can't really control whether or not that gets taken in a multiplayer game. But here I have like a little bit of ability to make a strategic choice. I really like this game solo, just as a plain solo game, because it allows me time to really sit and think on my puzzle, really take some time to think of optimal moves and kind of, no, over here. Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. And I'm not worried about taking up everyone else's time with that. Everyone's like, dude, like, let's go, let's move this along. I can kind of just trip out and like, just try every possibility and try to see how much I could possibly maximize my play while having just those very simple mechanics still in place and everything. So I really enjoy it for that purpose. I just like being able to simply take my time. And if this game was simply a beat your own score solo experience, I think there's enough of a puzzle there that could be very intriguing for a very long time. And then they go next level, because in the rule book, they actually have a bunch of different things that kind of give you challenges to try as you play more and more Calico. And they have ones that are specific for solo. So they have these different achievements here, and they can have up to 6 people kind of track their progress throughout their ownership of this game. There's different achievements like scoring 60 points or 85 points or never getting a button and stuff that you could just do in multiplayer games and sort of work on getting this XP for Calico as you become a Calico master. They even have rules restrictions. You can make your game harder for yourself and get a little bit of XP that way. But on the next page, they have scenarios. Now this can be used in multiplayer or in solo, but this is definitely seems to me like it was made for the solo play. You have 10 different challenges where it'll give you the 3 cats that you are going to be going for, which will dictate the shapes and different things that the cats will be attracted to your quilt with. And then they'll give you additional things, like in this first challenge, you have to get a rainbow button. The only way to get a rainbow button is to collect all 6 of the other colors to get a rainbow. So you have to do that, and then they also give you a point threshold that you must meet or exceed. In the instance of the first challenge, is 58 points. So you have to get 58 points using the 3 dictated cats, using the 3 design goals that they give you, and you have to collect a rainbow button, all of that to win. And I love that. And it gets much harder from there. I love the fact that I have these different challenges, and I could just randomize it and stuff, but it's really cool to have those extra things like you have to get a certain amount of cats, or you have to get all the different types of cats a certain amount of times. There's all sorts of different challenges that are presented to you in that scenario kind of couple of pages there in the back of the book. And I think that's the coolest thing ever, because I have a nice easy solo that doesn't get in my way. I have all the time in the world to kind of think about these puzzles, and if I get a scenario set up and I fail, which I'm gonna do because I haven't even beaten the first scenario ever because it's a very hard game and I'm not very smart, you can just kind of reset it up and re-go because you have it all kind of set up there for you, and you can kind of slowly work your way up, and you will actually get better at the game as you kind of understand ways to work this puzzle, because there's so many interesting things. It's all just colors, patterns, and then those design tiles, but sometimes those design tiles are gonna share the same patch, and how do you make it all work together in such a way that you don't just mess yourself up. It's incredible how simple this game is and how deep and thinky it is. It reminds us of Arboretum in that way, where what you're doing is so simple and it's just going to destroy your head while being very pretty and like, oh, cuddly cats. It's vicious like cats. See, this is one of the most thematic games of all time when you really think about it. So that's what I think about Calico. I really like the solo. I think it's incredible. We always are fans of win-loss solo scenarios, not simply beat your own score. This provides you that, and then it gives you extra layers of challenge for yourself by having to get those extra bits. Like I said, I could get the points on the first one, but if I don't get a rainbow, I still lose. That's amazing. Now I have more stuff to think about. So Calico is a home run for me in terms of soloing. It's great to look at. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's just got a great, wonderful theme. It just fits kind of the holiday season and the cooler weather that we're heading into. You kind of want to cuddle up. This game is just a good time, especially given our times. So that's what I think of Calico. I'm curious, have you played Calico at home, whether or not it's multiplayer or solo? What do you think of this game? I think it's really, really sharp. I'm excited to sort of practice and get better and see if I can like get some achievements in this game. I just love that there's all these different achievements. I think it's so fun. And it's just got a really good packaging around it, especially with the best solo art. It just looks incredible. So that's what I think of Calico, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I suggest you try this solo. For my money, it's a great solo experience, and I think you'll like it. So check it out, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for watching another You Can Solo That. If you want to see one of Nick's You Can Solo That's, he's really the solo expert of the family. You can check it out right there. And if you go down here, you'll see another cool video from the Brothers Murph. And don't forget to subscribe if you like what we do, and consider checking out our Patreon as well. We really appreciate it. Have a great day.